Welcome to Meet the Candidates 2022, a voter education program brought to you by the Shakopee Chamber of Commerce. My name is Tim Zunker, and I'm the president with the Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau. Our hope is that these candidate interviews and profiles will help you, the voter, understand your choices when it comes to the 2022 elections. We ask voters to arm themselves with the information necessary to make educated choices and make casting your vote a priority. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org to find out more information about the upcoming elections. And now I'd like to introduce Ron Hocevar, who is running for re-election for Scott County Attorney. Ron, thank you for joining us today. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you to the Chamber, first off, for giving me this opportunity to address the citizens of Scott County through this forum, so I really appreciate that. Again, my name is Ron Hocevar. I am currently running for re-election as your Scott County Attorney. I was elected 8 years ago when my predecessor, Mr. Pat Silverberger, retired, and I chose to run for re-election at that time and was fortunately enough to be elected. And I'm finishing on my second term right now, running for my third term. I'm currently living in Prior Lake with my beautiful wife of 28 years, Marcy. I have two children, a 16-year-old Isabella and 14-year-old Dominic, and very active in the community. I'm a member of the Prior Lake Rotary, in addition to the Prior Lake Chamber of Commerce. Also, I've coached and continue to coach youth soccer, baseball, and hockey through the years. Now they're getting a little bit older, so it's getting a little bit more out of my league as far as expertise in coaching, but I still do continue to coach baseball primarily. So that's a little, I can't forget my dog Sherlock. Yeah, he also lives with us. English Springer Spaniel named Sherlock. Like I said, we live in Prior Lake and have been there for quite a while now.
Great. Thank you, Ron. Why are you running for re-election for Scott County Attorney?
Well, the primary reason I'm running for re-election in Scott County is because I love my job. It's a great job. I love serving the community. I love working with law enforcement. I love making and helping our community safer, and also guiding our county board through all the struggles and contracts that they go through with my civil division, with my CHIPS division, the Child in Need of in Protective Services. I do a fantastic job with the county, and I love the people I work with. The staff is awesome. I've put together an incredible staff right now. They're really quite amazing and doing an excellent job. When I was first elected back in 2014, took office in 2015, I immediately started a program where my office went completely paperless. I got laptop computers for every single attorney, so they were able to work at home, in court. When you're in court, there's a lot of downtime waiting for judges and defense attorneys, and just for various reasons. But that allowed my attorneys to be able to work from court on other files as they had downtime. And this was pre-pandemic. So we immediately started scanning in all the files, all the paper files, and using our laptops to go paperless, which turned out to be pretty fortuitous. Once the pandemic started, we were ready to go. And then with the addition and with the help of the county, I was able to get all of my support staff laptops also, and scanners for home. So we were ready to go with the pandemic hit. So we've done some great things since I've been county attorney. We can get into this more a little bit later, but with treatment court and vets court and choose not to use, I'll continue to thrive under my direction and my administration. So I'd like to keep in office and keep all those programs going and make them thrive and do better for the community.
Great. Thank you, Ron. Currently, there are programs in place in Scott County to help prevent crimes and reduce recidivism, including treatment court, choose not to use, take it to the box, and the worthless check program. What works with these programs, and if re-elected county attorney, what would you add or change to the current programs?
Tim, the programs were great. And the purpose of the programs are we want to reduce recidivism and make people's lives better, make them productive members of society. And that's what we're doing. In addition to vets court, treatment court and vets court were started under my direction and under my administration, and they continue to thrive. And we want to make sure that those courts stay active, and we want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do and reduce that recidivism and make people's lives better. Choose not to use is a part of, you started out as a meth task force before I took office. Once I took office, we expanded the meth task force and rebranded as Choose Not to Use. And the primary purpose of Choose Not to Use is to educate our community, primarily youth, to make the best decisions in life, primarily focusing on drugs, but other things. I do talks on teen sexting and damages that can do for their future. I'm also a speaker for Act United, an anti-child trafficking program. I also do talks on human trafficking in itself. So all these programs are designed to reduce recidivism and make people's lives better and make them active members of society. You mentioned the bad check program. That is still active, not as much anymore. Retailers aren't taking as many checks as before, but the retailers that do take checks really appreciate that program. So we do continue that that is active, and we do help retailers out with that, and they really do appreciate it. As far as expanding the programs we have, I'd rather focus on what we have right now and make sure that they continue to thrive and not be made less active. I want to, for our vets court and our treatment court, I want to make sure that they have all the participants that they need. Our Choose Not to Abuse program, we're constantly expanding, and we're constantly looking for ways to further educate our children, educate our citizenry to make the best choices. We just finished our annual fundraising event out at the Stonebrook Golf Course and raised funds for the next year. So we're always looking for ways to continue to educate our kids. We're working more closely now with public health and other agencies within the county. We have billboards up now throughout the county as far as making the best choices. You mentioned Take It to the Box. The billboards deal somewhat with that, with making sure our drugs are not left to be stale in some bucket in your house somewhere, or in the medicine cabinet where kids can get a hold of them and possibly use them or sell them. So I want to make sure that those programs are thriving. I want to make sure that they stay active and doing the best that we can to help our citizens remain drug-free, remain productive members of society.
Great. Thank you, Ron. The county recently allocated ARPA funds to improve the court backlog. What do you see as a long-term solution to help keep the court's backlog low?
The ARPA funds were a great help for the backlog, and it worked. We're back almost to zero backlog. There's still a little bit up there, but we're basically back to pre-pandemic levels. So the ARPA funds helped significantly. But it wasn't just the pandemic that required that there was a backlog. There was a backlog before too. And the primary reason for that is personnel, and not just my office, but community corrections, public defenders, the judges, the courtrooms. Given the recent expansion of the government center, we do have more courtrooms now, and we do have one additional judge, I believe, which helps a lot. As far as keeping it that way, I like to have the personnel stay where they are, even after the ARPA funds supposedly run out. I think it's imperative that community corrections have the personnel that they need, that my office have the personnel that we need to continue to move these cases through the system. It's no secret that the criminal justice system moves slowly through nobody's fault other than the number of cases and the personnel that we have. You have a minimal amount of judges. You only have so many prosecutors, only so many public defenders, only so many defense attorneys. All those things contribute to things being delayed. And again, you can't point to just one area's fault. There's no one area's fault. But the more personnel we have, the more individuals we have involved in the system, the more attention that we can give to a particular case, to a particular defendant, to a particular victim. All those things will make the system run more efficiently.
Great, thank you. What are your views on the current bail system? What changes, if any, would you make?
I think the current bail system is mostly adequate. I'll come back to one change I would make in a minute, but I will tell you that I will never be the type of county attorney, the type of DA that they have in San Francisco, LA, the Southern District in New York, Chicago, you name it, where we have a revolving door in our jail and criminals are just coming in one door, going out the other, and committing more crimes. That will not happen under my administration. I will not have a policy where they just have a revolving door. And this is where it's important that you have an experienced prosecutor, such as myself, as the county attorney, because the county attorneys, as the prosecutors, we control that bail system. We control whether someone is going to get a bail hearing or not. We can look at the jail roster. We can talk to the officers before the arrest is made and say, yes, hold this person, or no, don't hold this person. They can leave. But that's where you need someone with experience to do that, not somebody that has never done a case, not somebody that has never done anything serious in criminal justice. Because we control that. But to have a policy where you just book and release, book and release, book and release is, in my view, insane. That is not going to happen under my administration. Coming back to one change I would make, currently under the Minnesota Constitution, everybody is entitled to bail. I would like to see a change made where we can hold some people without bail. I'll use a very specific example. There was an individual a while back, you might recall, named America. She was decapitated by her boyfriend, who she happened to bail out of jail. There's absolutely no reason he should have been out on bail. And I'm not blaming the judge at all. The judge is mandated to give him reasonable bail. The judge had no choice. But why? Given his criminal history, given his failure to appear on prior cases, there's no reason that we should not be able to hold an individual like that in jail. So I believe that one change I would make is that we be allowed to hold certain criminals. Again, prosecutorial discretion. We can make that recommendation to a judge or not if we had the option. But I think that is one change that I would make in the bail system.
Great. Thank you, Ron. With the changes nationally towards decriminalization and legalization of marijuana, do you believe changes should be made in Scott County regarding prosecution of marijuana cases?
Boy, Tim, that's a slippery slope of a question. Listen, we all know legalization is talked about in every legislative session. It's going to continue to be talked about probably until it happens. Whether that's next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. But we need to be prepared for it when that happens. Having said that, we take an oath once we win an election and we're sworn in as the county attorney. We take an oath to uphold the law, not to uphold the laws that we like. We're told we take an oath to uphold the laws whether we like them or not. So I will uphold the law. I will abide by my oath and uphold the law and follow the law. But that's why you might have heard recently about the moratorium on the CBD gummies, and most cities in the county have been passing that. The county did pass that. And that's why this is a good test run for the potential legalization of marijuana, because we can figure out what should and should not be in the legislation, what we need direction on and what we don't need direction on. So this is a good test run. This moratorium was a good idea. Figure out what we need from the legislature as far as how this is going to happen. So again, we don't get to choose which laws we follow, which laws we don't follow. Again, the prosecutorial discretion comes into play, which we have as prosecutors, and that's why you need someone experienced like myself in office, because we look at every individual case. Like, let's say a marijuana case comes in. We're not going to ignore it. I think that's wrong. We're not going to ignore it. But you look at every individual case, every individual defendant, every individual specific facts of that case, and you make the decision. How should that be charged? Should it be charged? And if it is charged, what do we want for a disposition? That's where experience comes into play in this case. But to just make a blanket statement that I am going to ignore this law goes against your oath, and I think is borderline unethical.
Great. Thank you, Ron. Why are you the best candidate for Scott County Attorney?
I am the best candidate for Scott County Attorney because I have the leadership experience. I have the courtroom experience. I have the experience of being a county attorney to successfully manage this office and provide the best county attorney for public safety in Scott County. I believe if you ask any law enforcement and anybody in the law enforcement community, 9 out of 10 are going to tell you to vote for me. I would say 10 out of 10, but there might be some outlier out there somewhere. And listen, I should have said this in my introduction, but after I graduated from law school, I went into the Navy J Corps, the Judge Advocate General Corps, where I was a lawyer for the United States Navy. I was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia at the Naval Operating Base and immediately started litigating cases. I spent most of my time with the Navy as a defense attorney, a little bit of time as a prosecutor. And I did my 3 years active duty and came out and finished my 20 in the reserves, retired in the reserves. So after I finished my time with the Navy as a Navy lawyer, came to Scott County shortly thereafter, leaving active duty. And I started as a line attorney for Scott County, prosecuting everything from speeding tickets to first-degree criminal sexual conduct, some involving children as young as 3 years old, to murder in the first degree, premeditated murder in the first degree. I was the first prosecutor in the nation to try a Craigslist killer case that happened years ago in Savage, if anyone might recall that. I went from a line attorney, I was promoted to a criminal division head. From there, I was promoted to chief deputy. And from there, as I stated earlier, the then county attorney retired. I chose to run and was fortunately elected as county attorney. So I've done it all, from speeding tickets to first-degree murder to running the office. I have an office now of approximately, boy, I should know, it's probably 54, 55 people. It's not the same county as it was 25, 30 years ago. We're growing and we continue to grow. We're seeing a lot more serious crime. We're seeing a lot more crime. We see a lot more technical stuff as far as the civil division, with contracts, condemnations, with all the buildings going on. So you need somebody with my experience managing that. I have the management experience. I have the criminal experience. I have the prosecution experience. I have the litigation experience. I have the leadership experience. My opponent has none of those. So I think it's a pretty clear choice I think the citizens have between me and my opponent. I'm somebody who's not trying to be mean, but done really nothing compared to me, who has managed this office for the last 8 years, plus 15, 20 some years before that, worked my way through the system up to the position that I have right now. So I've got a great office. We've done some great things, and I'd like to continue to do that. And I would ask for your vote come November to remain and keep me as the Scott County Attorney.
The views expressed in these interviews are those of the candidates, not those of the Chamber and Visitors Bureau. The Chamber is sponsoring these events as a service to the community and has gone to great lengths to ensure the objectivity. The Chamber does not endorse any candidate, but seeks to provide you, the citizens and voters of Shakopee, with the information you need to make an informed choice. Shakopee Chamber and Visitors Bureau extends a sincere thank you to the candidates. Thank you, Ron. We appreciate your time and service to our community by running for office. You are performing an important service to us all. Again, thank you for joining us for this edition of Meet the Candidates 2022. Please join us September 29th at River Valley Church for our candidate forum. Please visit the Shakopee Chamber website at shakopee.org for more information. Thank you. Thanks again, Ron.
Thank you.
Good.
I
Perfect.
feel like I talk too fast.
No, you're good. You have some, your question on marijuana